Hello everyone, please help me to welcome CTL Program Assistant for the past 8 years, and the founder of two Twitter's amazing campaigns number Makoasi Hourcois and Was Research. The main objective of these campaigns is to provide an opportunity for both WAS students and faculty members to showcase their work and mobilize knowledge. We have today Danny Kavanagh. Thank you. Shall we get started? Sure. Social media supports the constructivist theory to a great extent. The unlimited resources available on the internet enable the learners to construct their own meanings. It supports as well the collaborative nature of learning and the importance of cultural and social context in the learning process. However, ownership issues and lack of trust regarding public and collaborative spaces will always represent a challenge and concern. How can we decrease these challenges? Social media does support the constructivist theory in terms of users being able to co-construct knowledge. The knowledge shared on Twitter is typically based on users' experience and not on research studies. However, there are those who tweet about research, but in this case it is important to either include a link to the research or mention who owns that knowledge. Although APA citation is not required in tweets, it is common practice to cite the owner of the knowledge, otherwise this could be a case of plagiarism. That's interesting to think about considering the 140-word limit. Good point. You can add the handle of the person who owns the knowledge. Would parenthetical reference be considered alright in a tweet? Parenthetical reference, yes. Typically, yes, it would suffice. But why would someone decide to use a tweet to express research? Why not another medium? Twitter is a great way to mobilize knowledge from research, especially people who do not read research articles, academic journals. It reaches audiences that are not connected to you via other media. Now, for a teacher with no experience with TED education, how would you recommend one to go about beginning to incorporate this resource within their classroom? What trends exist within educational Twitter accounts? What stands out most and what elements can be included to capitalize these types of accounts on Twitter? This account promotes the TED Talk website, with talks from scholars and professionals from all walks of life. On Twitter, they typically share resources for educators to use, or information about talks and resources. Through the TED Ed Chat, educators can engage in interactions with other educators by answering the questions posted. For example, question, how do you define critical thinking? By clicking the reply button, you can answer the question and see how others answer it too. If you want to ask a question to one of the people who replied with an answer, use their handle, followed by their username, and they will receive it. One issue with this is that whatever question or answer you post, these count as tweets and will be visible to the general public through your Twitter account. Yet I participated in similar Twitter conversations and found it a little off-putting that you can only view one person's input in a conversation at a time. You can type the chat hashtag number TEDChat into the search box and continually refresh it so that you see the conversation flowing down the screen. I guess you could always add number hashtag to group tweets. Would that help to structure conversations? Yes, that's how you provide the structure to the chats. It's always a fear with social media that you might post something that had good intentions but later you realize other perspectives on it. Good point, you can always delete a tweet if you regret posting it. Simply scroll to one of your tweets, and you will see 3 dots below the tweet. Click on the 3 dots and scroll to the last option, delete tweet. Wow! What a great discussion! Twitter and I found it to be more political than supporting classroom development. Of course, I'm sure this would be a lot more during negotiation time, but I thought it was interesting how, for example, they retweeted the President Sam Hammond's tweet which blatantly supported Bernie Sanders as presidential candidate in the US. I compared this to the @was news feed, which seems to be all professional posts. My question, how do you make decisions on what to tweet/retweet when it comes to running a professional Twitter account? How do you decide on what you tweet for the WAS Twitter accounts you deal with? Are you sent the ideas? Good question. When posting tweets from a professional account, I would avoid anything connected to debatable issues, unless these are part of the mission statement of the company you are tweeting from. When composing tweets for the @Tloys account, I aim to include issues that involve CTL, WAS, and education in general. Sometimes professors/students add the @Tloys handle to their own tweets hoping they will be retweeted by @Tloys. I usually retweet them, unless the content is not appropriate. @Galanti Angelica account caught my eyes. There are a number of collections emphasizing the diversity in education, including digital literacies and interculturality. One of interesting posting is on teacher goals. This account also has lots of engaging posting from our WAS students and student associations. How does the active engagement in social media, through Twitter or FB, with community members, for @Galanti Angelica's account, WAS graduate students, influence the quality of WAS programs and students' professional development? Accounts like these might encourage other students to engage on Twitter and share their research with the global community. Do you think people outside of education are likely to read tweets by educators? Or do those tweets still stay within the broader education community? Sure, but it depends as well on who is following you on Twitter. That's true. How do you ensure/strive to give an equitable representation of the diverse programs and the diverse student body on a media platform that represents the largest university in Canada? It would be too time-consuming to maintain a spreadsheet of all the departments and their tweets. They do their best to be equitable given this fact, and ensuring that every department gets an equal number of tweets connected to them. They also take into account how many followers some faculty members have and might be more likely to retweet posts from the more Twitter active followers. @Enviro Educators account. They retweet a lot of great resources and facts about the environment and current issues. There are a lot of X days/weeks to promote biking to school, world oceans, etc. This brings me to the question I came up with %UFFFD: how can we distinguish online slacktivism from true activism online? How can environmental educators promote online activism that is actually effective? It's difficult to tell whether a person is a true activist or not judging from their tweets. Tweeting about biking to school as beneficial to your health and the environment does not mean that you, as the one posting the tweet, bike to school. I understand that tweets can include polls, image, videos, etc. Are there things we need to know about that? Guides to using Twitter? Videos have a 30-second limit and you can post up to 4 photos per tweet. You can add a GIF as well. They have thousands to choose from. You can add a simple poll, with up to 4 choices and select how long the poll will be there for. 7 days is the maximum time length. Wow, the hour whizzed by. Thank you. This was a great learning experience. What would you say we must know as Twitter users in the field? Think about your coherent worldview before you post anything. Explore Twitter accounts of people/organizations you admire and observe trends that you might want to follow when tweeting from your account. Great advice. Many thanks to you for taking part in the chat. Thanks for the chat. After this amazing chat, class members had different opinions regarding how do they currently use or plan to use tools like Twitter as a professional. Lot of members stated that Twitter accounts allow them to collaborate with other members, gather information, news updates, and research relevant to their field. For instance, Twitter accounts such as #EdChat and #EdTech. Participants as well shared the different views on how do they teach students how to use social media, Twitter, responsibly. They agreed that we need to incorporate digital literacy and digital citizenship lessons into their classrooms. They need to teach students how to create, evaluate, and interpret the information that they are bombarded with from the internet and social media sites. A great link to check: http://www.rethinkwords.com, as research has found that with Rethink, adolescents change their mind 93% of the time and decide not to post an offensive message on social media. They discussed as well whether any institution has the right to manage its own cyber image or not. In other words, should potential students/researchers be able to know an institution by its tweets? Where are the possible downfalls of this effort to protect image? Most of them agreed with this statement, because it'll empower the organization or institution to protect their image and hold them accountable for any misuse. But at the same time it urges us as educators to teach their students to be critical of what they see online.